Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to bring you people from all walks of life, amazing people who have left legacies in this planet Earth. And one of them is Anthony Moore. As we're connecting worlds around the globe, we're bringing amazing people who are really creating change, creating difference, creating new way of thinking. And one of them is my dear friend Tony, which we're going to host. It's such an honor. I hosted him several years ago when our TV channel was known as another brand. Now I'm again excited to host him to another new TV channel, AFROTURK TV and AFROTURK Agro TV Common Broadcasting, which is now broadcasting to more than 1 billion people in 49 countries. Welcome, Tony. So honored to have you at Connecting Worlds.
Brilliant. I'm so happy to see you, my dear friend. You've done a wonderful job in the broadcasting area. You've done a wonderful job in a number of areas, healthcare, startups, and it's a great pleasure to, as always, to be with you. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Tony. We're honored. I know how busy you are, and you are connecting all the way from Kuşadası here in our studios. And I'm so thrilled to be with you. It's such an honor and pleasure for us. I know you very well. You are one of the key leaders in finance, in investment banking globally. And you had a long and very successful career in global investment banking, including your time at Goldman Sachs. I want you to tell for our viewers, Tony, what really inspired you to shift your focus now toward Africa and establish Evrensel Impact Group.
Indeed, it's been a very long career in investment banking. Can you believe, Yavuz, that it's 42 years since I opened the Goldman Sachs office in Hong Kong?
Wow.
How time has flown, and how different the world is from what it was in those days. So 1983 was a big event in my life when, with two other people, I opened the Goldman Sachs office there and had responsibility for the whole of that region. So Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and the Philippines. And I've visited those countries many times. And of course, there's been tremendous changes since those days. Just to give you one example, Singapore at that time was best known for being the shipyard repair port, one of the most important in the world. Now look at it in terms of being a financial center, indeed a technology center. So things certainly have changed. I reached a point where I wanted my work to have deeper meaning and lasting impact. So this is very much the legacy period of my life, Yavuz.
Yes.
I want to give back, help others get ahead, and do as much good as I can. And Africa, for me, represents one of the greatest untapped opportunities in the world, not just economically, but socially. What inspired me was the realization that relatively small, well-structured investments can unlock transformational change across entire economies. Evrensel Impact Group was born from that vision to bridge global capital with real, tangible solutions on the ground, particularly in sectors that directly improve lives. So important to me in that respect, and very much defined the choice of sectors, as I'm sure we'll discuss as we move forward.
I have studied Evrensel Impact Partners and the group and its positioning in Africa. When I look at the company, it's clearly aiming to deliver critical infrastructure solutions across the entire sub-Saharan Africa. So what makes Africa not only a meaningful choice, but also a strategic one for long-term impact, Tony?
Yeah, but Africa is not just meaningful, it's essential to the future of global growth. I'm sure you'll realize, you know very well, others perhaps not so well, that by 2050, 1 in 4 people on the planet will be African.
Amazing, amazing.
The continent has vast natural resources, a young and dynamic population, and an increasing openness to innovation. Really important.
Absolutely.
From a strategic perspective, Africa offers something unique. the ability to leapfrog legacy systems, whether in energy, water, or digital infrastructure. Africa can adopt next generation solutions faster than more developed markets.
One of the things I want to highlight is actually your emphasis on infrastructure as a foundation for development. That was really, created some ideas. And you mentioned some of the key areas when we had a discussion before: water, energy,
Yes.
agriculture, and especially healthcare. Which ones do you see are the most urgent priorities today, and why, Tony?
Yes. Yeah, there's all four areas: water, energy, agriculture, and by the way, indeed, healthcare I would include in there because they're all interconnected. But if I had to prioritize, I'd start with water.
Yes,
Water is the foundation of everything.
for sure.
Without reliable water, agriculture cannot function, energy production is constrained, health outcomes deteriorate. In my company, we see water as the entry point. And through that, we unlock opportunities across the entire water, energy, agriculture nexus. The great thing, and it was so important to me to assemble people who know their industries, specialists around me, not another group of ex-investment bankers like myself, but real industry experts. And Evidential Impact Group can now offer specialists, if you will, in all of those areas, which are so critically interlinked, but our team can work together to deliver optimal solutions. That, I believe, we're unique in that respect.
So clearly water, as you mentioned, the water scarcity is remaining as one of the most pressing challenges across Africa, for sure. From your perspective, Tony, what makes the water crisis so critical, and what kind of long-term scalable solutions are needed at this time?
Well, one thing that I would like to make very clear is that it's not just about scarcity. It's about inefficiency, leakage, lack of data, and poor infrastructure planning. In many regions in Africa, up to 40 to 60% of water is lost before it even reaches the consumer. What's needed is a shift from reactive infrastructure to intelligent, data-driven systems.
I see.
In our company, we employ AI-powered water feasibility solutions, working with companies. We have a very good partner in marine water. As with a number of other people that I work with, I've known the CEO of that company for more than 20 years.
Wow.
I was the chairman of one of his companies and helped him sell it all that time ago. So someone that I know really well. I'm not that familiar with AI, and there's a lot of things I don't like about it, but I do see how it can very much help with what we're trying to achieve in water, agriculture, energy, etc. The marine water looks at diagnosing inefficiencies, identifying hidden water resources, optimizing distribution systems. This allows governments to make smarter, faster, and more cost-effective decisions. Let's remember, my friend, that it is the government's responsibility to address issues in all of these areas.
Yes.
The private sector gets involved, but it's the government's obligation to provide fresh drinking water to the citizens of the respective country. And so we want to work to partner with these governments. What we're not are equipment salesmen. What you see so many times now is large multinationals running around Africa looking to sell equipment, not even really thinking through whether it's what the country really needs.
Absolutely.
They just want to book a sale and make a profit. I sound very critical, forgive me, but I've shifted away from that. We sit down with the government, we work through with them what is best for the country, and then we deliver an optimal solution. Terribly important to me.
Absolutely, and I think that is amazing because I know when I was in Africa several times, and I keep going back and forth from the poorest countries like Niger, people are carrying water on their head for hours and hours. And it just sitting down with the governments, showing them the right path and giving that strategic mindset as a solution partner is exactly what is needed. So I kudos to you and your team, Tony, for leading this. And let's talk a little bit about energy, if I may.
Yes.
The energy access and reliability are really essential for economic growth. We are seeing all these wars now, and energy reliability has become the key source of peace even around the globe. So let's get to Africa and discuss from your perspective, especially renewable energy. How do you evaluate the role of renewable energy, especially solar and wind, in transforming Africa's energy landscape, Tony?
Yeah, but renewable energy is absolutely central to Africa's future. The continent has some of the best solar irradiation levels in the world, as well as significant wind and hydro potential. What's exciting is that Africa doesn't need to replicate outdated centralized grid systems. Instead, it can move toward decentralized solutions, such as solar microgrids or hybrid energy systems, energy solutions integrated with water and agriculture. We see energy, as I was saying before, not as a standalone sector, but as part of a broader ecosystem that drives productivity and economic growth. And
Amazing.
Going back to my desire always to have very experienced people around me, John Mansfield, the CEO of Evrenzel Global Energy, part of the EIG, or Evrenzel Impact Group, part of EIG. I don't know anyone who knows more about the energy sector than John.
Amazing.
So he can speak knowledgeably with presidents and ministers of energy in African countries about what's going on, what they've got, what they're doing, what they can do, what's best. And again, that goes back to me wanting to ensure that we deliver optimal solutions.
Correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand, Tony, EIG's mission highlights not only investment, but also innovation and management of very large scale projects, G2G or B2G projects. And your experience across Africa as you're building this amazing momentum, what are the biggest challenges in turning especially the infrastructure ideas into reality in African markets?
Yes, indeed. A very, very good question. The biggest challenge is not the lack of opportunity, it's the gap between opportunity and execution.
I see.
A number of barriers that I might highlight. Project bankability, the ability to raise money for the project. Access to early stage capital is still challenging. Coordination between stakeholders, the person that's got the money, the government, the people delivering the project. Data limitations. That's so important. It's all very well for a government to need to address a water crisis, and they know what it is in the round, but actually having the data to hand. What are the levels of contamination in whatever river it may be? Where will desalination plants, should they be installed if it's a country that can benefit from desalination? So this whole digital transformation, a number of governments, we're working very closely with the government of Mozambique at the moment, and they have got a minister for digital transformation, because that will be all about the government being able to collect more precise data and information from which they can make proper decisions. So important. I think it's worth just in terms of mentioning, if I may, just take a couple of minutes for your viewers with regard to AI, the AI-led feasibility study, which is our trademark at the moment. It's a relatively small investment, a few $1 million, and which we often fund that. We don't expect governments to put the money up. It de-risks projects, provides clarity to investors because they know that you've done your homework, and it creates what we're now finding a pipeline of bankable opportunities. By that, I mean the ability to fund them. This AI water feasibility study dramatically improves the success rate of large-scale infrastructure delivery. And by the way, it's worth pointing out, this isn't only for greenfields, if you will. The same feasibility study, AI driven feasibility study, can apply to existing infrastructure.
Nice.
Therefore, optimizing what's already in place, let alone building what needs to be put in place now.
That is
it's
amazing.
a really important component of what we do.
It does increase efficiency, if I may clarify for our viewers. So whether it's a new project or an existing one, definitely contact EIG and see how you can increase your efficiency. So through our WhatsApp numbers, feel free to reach out to Tony anytime, and we'll be honored to get back to you through all these numbers. And Tony, when we had some discussions before, I remember you mentioning doing well by doing good. So there are many businesses now, business owners watching this episode, and for them, what are your recommendations in terms of social impact? How can their businesses balance profitability with social impact, particularly in these developing nations, developing regions?
Another really important question. I strongly believe that profit and impact are not mutually exclusive. Mm-hmm. Indeed, they reinforce each other. Yavuz, if you solve a fundamental problem like water access or energy reliability, you are inherently creating economic value.
For sure.
The key is to structure projects in a way that delivers measurable impact and generates sustainable returns. At EIG, we call this doing well by doing good. And it's not just a philosophy, it's a business model in itself.
Absolutely.
Really important. They are not mutually exclusive. You can make money while doing good.
Absolutely. I'm usually in Nigeria nowadays. Every year I'm invited for a program, or we coordinate some programs, not just in Nigeria, but in majority of Africa. I want you to speak to our investors and business people, the international investors who may still hesitate about entering African markets. What are your messages you would like to give, dear Tony?
Yes, I appreciate the opportunity. My message is simple, Yavuz. Africa is not a risk. It's an opportunity that has been misunderstood.
Absolutely.
Yes, there are challenges, but with the right local partnerships, strong governance and data-driven approaches, those risks can be significantly mitigated.
Absolutely.
Very important and again for your audience, very important for us to have strong partners on the ground, Africa, in whichever country we are operating. Inefficient to deal between us and EIG, wherever it may be in the world, and a member of the government. Mm-hmm. Even better to have someone on the ground that has a strong reputation, that is well connected, well versed in business, the way business is done in a particular country. And I insist on any African country that we go into that we have a strong local partner. Absolutely. And there are many countries that we haven't gone into yet where we will be looking for someone to guide us, as to introduce us to the right people and assist us getting the message across to the government about how we can partner with them and help them. So we position ourselves as a bridge between government and investors, and between opportunity and execution. But for investors willing to engage properly, Africa offers some of the most compelling returns globally, believe it or not. You've got to get over the skepticism. You know, a lot of bridges have been burned, a lot of mistakes have been made, a lot of money lost over the years. And therefore people are skeptical. But the message is getting, and people like yourself, Jesus, are helping enormously. The message is getting out there now that people must seriously consider Africa as an important part of the future of the world, and that investors in particular should be taking a look at the opportunities that that presents.
Absolutely. You know, in my view, Tony, I usually go by granting trust rather than trying to make people earn the trust. If you go by granting trust and use the right references and right stakeholders, credible partners, like you said, like EIG, there's no way to fail. Actually, it's impossible to fail in many of the projects, and you have a proven track record of all these projects. Let's say I'm an African entrepreneur, now living in Bamako, in Mali, or in, Kenya. What should that African entrepreneur in Kenya, in Bamako, in Ghana, what should that African entrepreneur do? And what these local stakeholders prioritize to build a stronger partnership and attract sustainable investment and amazing professionals and teams like yourselves?
Partnership and transparency are key, Yavuz. I mentioned that just now. Governments and local stakeholders should focus on creating clear regulatory frameworks, supporting data-driven decision-making, being open to innovative financing models. The days of the traditional project finance are not over. There are still traditional lenders, but we've got to be, and this is something I pride up on, we've got to be ever more creative in terms of how we fund projects. Really important. Equally important is collaboration. Working with partners who bring not just capital, but expertise and long-term commitment.
Absolutely. So looking ahead,
I should add, you know, this is my Goldman Sachs background coming through, which you know a lot about.
Yes.
Goldman is very relationship oriented. Always has been. The client's interests come first before anyone else's, and I'm applying that to the way we go about our business in Africa.
This is really key. I agree with you. It's all about building the right trusted relationship and really move forward with honesty and integrity and credibility. So looking ahead, Tony, when you think about Africa's future, let's take it, now we're 2026, let's take it to 2040, 2050, 2060. What gives you the greatest sense of optimism, Tony?
What gives me the greatest sense of optimism is the people. I saw this when I was in Hong Kong all those years ago, Yavuz. The young people, for example, in Singapore, keen to learn, keen to get ahead, keen to make a difference.
Amazing.
And we have that in Africa. I use LinkedIn a lot. One of the reasons that I'm happy to do that is not just to meet so-called important people, but I get approached by a lot of youngsters wanting to connect with me. And it's very rare that I decline to do so. They want to be mentored. They want to hear from someone who's been around for a long time and done a lot of things. And it gives me great pleasure to help in any way I can with these young people. Africa has an incredibly young, ambitious, and entrepreneurial population.
For sure.
And combined with rapid adoption of technology, this creates a powerful foundation for growth.
Absolutely.
We're already seeing this in sectors like fintech, agriculture, and energy. And Yavuz, I believe that we're only at the beginning. It's going to snowball. That's not the best analogy for Africa, but it's going to gather pace in the years to come.
You're spot on, Tony. You're truly spot on. I completely agree with you 100%. And finally, as AFROTURK TV broadcasting over the last 10 years and growing our group with AFROTURK Agro TV and now healthcare coming soon, what message would you like to share with our amazing young African people across the continent, dear Tony?
Believe in the scale of your own potential.
Amazing.
You're
amazing.
living in a time where technology, innovation, and global connectivity give you access to opportunities that previous generations did not have.
For sure.
My message is simple. Be bold.
Exactly.
Be curious. Be solutions driven. Africa's future will not be built from the outside. It will be built by the people who watch your very good program.
Amazing, amazing. Then I will finish this amazing program. I want to thank Anthony Roger Moore. He is an amazing leader, ladies and gentlemen. He has done and put so many solutions for our African brothers and sisters. Tony, keep up the amazing work. We're so proud to have you, and we look forward to hosting you again, hopefully maybe in Ankara in one of our programs, or maybe in one of our trips to Africa together. Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Pleasure to be with you. Thank you to your team for setting this up, and I shall look forward to maintaining our very strong relationship and friendship, my friend.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Take care. All the best.
Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our amazing program. I'm so proud to continue to connect the worlds and introducing you amazing leaders who are creating solutions, African solutions for African problems, like Anthony Roger Moore. Take care and all the best. See you soon. This is your host, Dr. Abu Selim Salai. I'm so proud of Africa. I'm so proud of you, and look forward to continue our engagement. And thank you again for all your messages that you're sending to us, and all your messages through WhatsApp, through our LinkedIn, through our Instagram. So excited to be with you. Take care and all the best. Bye.